a number of things you can do to become a better poker player. These are some that I consider to be the most important. First and foremost, pay attention when you're at the table. It sounds simple, but it's very easy to get distracted, get bored, not pay attention. You should always be watching how your opponents are betting, how they're playing, what they're doing, and even the novice can pick up on a few things if they're paying attention at the table. First and foremost, watch to see who the loose players are, the gambling style players, and watch and see who the tight players are, the guys that hardly ever come into a pot unless they have a real big hand. Another thing you should always look for at the table is who has more chips than you do. Who's the player at the table that can take you out if you play a pot with them? And you should also see who has the short stack of chips. Those are the ones that you want to try to attack. Another tip for you is that you should always protect your hand. And by that I mean, when you pick up your first two cards, don't pick them up in such a manner that your neighbors might be able to accidentally see them. Protect them. Cover them. And if you decide to play the pot, put your cards down and then take a chip and put it on top of your cards. This is what we call capping your cards. Remember, it's always the player's job to protect their own hand. If you put a chip on top of your cards, the dealer will never take your cards away from you. Something else you should always do at the poker table, of course, we've discussed it earlier in this DVD, is be patient. I just can't emphasize that enough. The surefire way to going broke on the poker table is if you start becoming impatient, getting bored, and start playing the marginal hands. Don't do it. Wait for the good hands before you enter a pot. That leads us into the next tip, which is don't steam or go on tilt. This is absolutely a surefire way to poverty if you're playing poker. And it happens to even the best of the best. They'll lose a few pots in a row, they get aggravated, they fire it up a little bit more, they're trying to get their money back. Steaming is something you want to avoid. Everybody in poker is going to have adversity. It's who handles that adversity the best that's going to be a successful player. We spoke earlier in this DVD about being aggressive. Simply put, just remember this. Bettors are winners, callers are losers. Short and sweet.